Hello, everybody, and welcome to TableTakes. Whew. Oh my goodness, can you guys believe that this is the second to the last show of Gen Con Online? Christian, how are you feeling? How was Gamers Live?
It was epic. It was great. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was. There's something about doing a live show in front of a giant live audience that I find to be pretty singular, and I wasn't expecting that feeling, especially with just seeing 6 people on a screen. And somehow it ended up being a really fun show and really entertaining and taxing. So taxing.
So taxing.
So taxing. Everybody kept me on. They kept me on my toes. They were very, very fun. And then I got to do another show the next day, which was a little bit more laid back, even though we did kind of an 80s action movie show with Metaverse. So we all get to play kind of stereotypical 80s action stars. So I got to have a terrible accent and pretend that I was from Iowa, even though I was clearly Austrian. And that was fun. And then, the Gen Con Film Festival on the Fantasy Network all weekend has been really, really cool too. Getting to see stuff that so many contributors have put in to that film festival. It was something to watch.
And so people still have a few more hours, I think, to go to Fantasy Network to catch some of those films if they haven't yet.
Yeah. And not all of them are that long. I mean, go check it out. There's some really, really cool stuff on there that makes me, happy to be a part of this industry.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I also like how you said that somehow your events turned out fun when you organized a bunch of experienced role players and improv folks to get together to pull them off. Like, who would have thought?
Well,
it's a lot easier when we have like time to talk about what we're going to do ahead of time, and we didn't have any of that. It was just we're just jumping in. It's like, okay, here's the premise. I'm going to be the GM. I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to talk for my own NPCs. I have one guy who's just doing all the NPC voices. He's naming all the characters. And so I had literally no control over anything except the dice rolls and the damage.
Wow, nice.
Having somebody else be a co-GM who takes over NPCs was a wild idea to me until I started listening to the Fun City podcast. They had a show on Gen Con TV yesterday night. I think they were the last show. And they have like a GM and then the NPC guy. And the fact that like you have the party who interacts with each other. And the fact that like the rest of the world had like 2 people on that team to kind of play off each other, I think really does some very interesting stuff to the dynamics of the game. It keeps it really fresh for everybody.
That's kind of how we do it on Metaverse too. We have people who do particular NPCs, and they just do the NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
And this was different because the NPCs in those games know what the adventure is. And this NPC literally, like, we didn't even know what the adventure was. It's like, okay, you're in a room, there's a guardian, you have to get into the next room. That's the adventure.
I like that.
And the NPC, he just went with it.
Called improv.
He was giving people ridiculous names in classes. We had a baby mancer in the party.
I love it.
All right, nice.
Like, okay, you can baby mance, but I don't want to see any dead babies. So the babies are invincible. So then the babies all became weapons, and because they couldn't get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, that does seem like a very natural progression.
Yeah. It got wild. It got really, really wild, but it was a good time.
Good.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, Derek, did you have some time to take it in as well?
Sure. I mean, I had time to take in a whole lot this weekend as I had
exhibition hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so. There's times in your life where I think you feel like you're finally living your dream and you realize it's been a nightmare the whole time. As like I finally felt like I was that cyberpunk Decker, hacking into the mainframe with a million conversations open and a million windows, and it was just like oh my god, this is nowhere near as cool as those advertisements told me it was going to be. Just because we had a bunch of different Discord servers, a bunch of channels in those Discord servers, 3 Twitch channels, email, phone calls, text messages. it was very much hopping from conversation to conversation to conversation. And like we all do that. And some of us are more comfortable with, some of us are much more comfortable with, multitasking and having conversation here while, talking to someone and all this kind of stuff. But like, I definitely realized that there's a volume of simultaneous conversations I can maintain at once before they just start compounding each other. Because I did not expect running a virtual Gen Con from the quote unquote comfort of my way too hot house would be quite as draining as it was over the past couple of days.
Yeah, nobody realizes that nobody here in Washington has any air conditioning, because why would we ever need it? And this weekend,
Emma's fancy. She has air conditioning.
That was our requirement. Coming from New York City, we're like, the Washingtonians like, you don't need AC. I'm like, yeah, right.
Well, normally you need AC for about 2 weeks out of the year. And for one of those weeks, we're usually in Indianapolis, where we have AC and hamster trails. Yeah. So usually works out.
I have many box fans located in very strategic areas of my house.
How many of them are homemade? I feel like half of the fans are just things you've made out of Legos, and
how sturdy are they as weapons? Banzai?
Just all the weapons now, but
so,
I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
I was
sorry.
going to say, like most of my weekend was spent hopping around trying to help people figure out their events, figure out their games, get things squared away, last minute events, last minute changes, emergencies, all that kind of stuff. And I think the only stuff I had a chance to kind of do was the time I had to spend in the Twitch, like keeping an eye on our Twitch streams, keeping an eye on chat. So I did manage to catch a few, like, I don't know if anybody saw the TableTakes concert, but Nerdy, the artist who opened it up, was incredible. And he had like incredible energy, like some of the most like energetic, fun nerd hip hop I've ever heard. Nice. Really stuff. Really great stuff.
You mean nerdcore? Nerdcore.
No, like it. I guess, but it's very different from a lot of the nerdcore I've heard at PAX. Like this is much more like fun and celebratory, just more energy, I think. Nice. And he is on Spotify, and there's also the video on demand, because I think it was Nerdy, Kadeshi, and the TableTakes was their bundle, and it was very fun. The TableTakes theme song, like, I don't know if everybody may not have gotten the memo, but Gen Con has a theme song this year. And that was a very exciting project to work on. I really appreciate the TableTakes being open when I was like, hey, so last minute, really short deadline, but what if? And they were like, cool, sounds great, let's do it. And we managed to pull it together, so I was very happy about that. And then there were a couple streams, actual plays that we had on that I was very, very happy we were able to pull together, like Zweihander on Thursday night, I think. And then Saturday we had both Fun City, which we were just talking about. And I think they resurrect some ancient economist who then learns the dark arts to manipulate market stock prices or something like that in a far future where the moon is about to destroy everyone or something. So that was fun. And then Stream of Blood did their vampire stream. And they're a stream that I've been watching personally for a while. And they did a thing where, I think Thursday at Gen Con, attendees, like viewers, could buy a seat and join their game. Like their normal like celebrity folks, like Ashley Birch, Thomas Middleditch, and Ross Bryant, who are all like, great actors and comedians and stuff like that. They weren't in the game. It was all viewers who played the game, but they played like in canon, and they messed up the vampire city. And then the next episode, the normal players got to show up and deal with the havoc that the players had reaped. So that was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to catch up on that.
Very good. That's very, very exciting. And Emma, you also did a lot of exciting things, just not on Twitch in general. You also did stuff other places too, right?
Some other places, kind of on Twitch and elsewhere as well. I did Instagram live video with GameRight, Meet the Inventors chat, and that was super fun, being able to answer some questions and talk to Nora from GameRight. She showed me on the chat some Abandoned Artichokes face masks, that they had made and were going to send me. So that was a very special moment, you know, just to like have that, like, hey, we made this for you. So it was really sweet and really cool. Also did our Ludology live show yesterday. And I took on the burden of setting up the tech for that, assuming it would be very, very easy to connect to Zoom and OBS and Twitch. And that was not the case at all. I started watching a video and trying to set things up, and it was all chaos. And it was very stressful. But I found some other tech to use. I talked to Gil Hova from Ludology, and we got everything straightened out right before we went on. So it ended up going off without a hitch. And it was really great. It's actually the first time that we'd streamed Ludology. We've done the live show. We do the live show every year at Gen Con. This one was the first time we were doing it on Twitch, and it was awesome. We had a bunch of people in the chat. Got to talk about Ludology, got to talk about Gen Con Online, and just thoughts on game design, and it was just really special to be able to share that with people.
So, Emma, if you had tech problems, like you have a bunch of people here who produce a Zoom call into an OBS stream every week.
I know.
I
realized that, but this was something that I had brought on myself, and I was not going to I respected that you all had stuff going on. I didn't want to put that burden on.
You tied yourself to that burning wheel of karma, and you didn't want to pull anybody else in.
I mean, yeah, maybe if I'd done a tech test on like Wednesday or something, but
you could have called in a favor. Did any of these people get anything for your birthday that was also like this week, right?
Yeah. My birthday was on Thursday, actually, so I did do.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. I did
Happy birthday!
Fun birthday stuff. I ate a lot of sweets, donuts, and cake. It was really fun. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I probably should have asked for help, you know, but I figure I'm like, I'll watch the videos on YouTube and be easy. I'll figure it out. And it worked out, right? It's great. Just leave it to the last minute and everything works out. I think that's kind of
you got to get older this week, which means you're automatically worse at technology than you were last week.
No, it means I'm smarter and more world wise, right? That's what happens when you get older.
Yes.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Yes, a little bit older. I feel like we could emerge and be the new generation that actually understands the new kerfuffle that happens, you know, every other
generation. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I mean, basically what I figured out is Zoom makes it complicated. So it wasn't me. I blame Zoom.
You blame Zoom. Okay. Emma's official stance. I blame Zoom. I think I just really enjoyed the whole music bonanza, that the double clip concert. I was in there enjoying and like bopping along. And also like I really enjoyed kind of like the crafting areas that a lot of people had. A shout out to my friend Quiltoni and Dryad T, just because they did clay making and all kinds of stuff. Like normally people would like not being like, Gen Con is also more than just board gaming. They also have a lot of crafting, cosplay areas as well. And I really enjoyed going into there and looking at the multiverse that they had. They had the little like website you could go to that like is the galaxy of verses. And that was just me exploring all that Gen Con had behind the scenes. And of course, going to GenCraft, the Minecraft like Gen Con with Hobbs
Hoppy.
Hoppy, and it was fun. It was fun going around and exploring that, and I very much suggest people who are in chat, if you haven't visited the Minecraft Gen Con, go ahead and do it. Their server is open, so if you're still in, like, you know, just hop into the server. It can hold about 100 people, so it could be like a real Gen Con experience. Well, speaking of real Gen Con,
Christian and Emma, did the two of you hear about that?
Yeah.
I didn't until I read this, and now I have. I'm gonna be looking at that.
So somebody made a 2-scale replica of the convention center and surrounding hotels in Minecraft, complete with a train that goes all the way around to give you a tour of it. Like there's a ton of stuff in there. Yeah, there's a ton of secrets. I think the thing I found really fast that made me laugh out loud, that like I have to keep telling people, is, you know, that hallway outside of Hall A and Hall B, where Are You a Werewolf is played?
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, this convention center in Minecraft doesn't have 1 million attendees in it, but they still, like, not only did they use reference photos, I am positive, to determine, like, where there's vinyl tables for games and where there's this for that and, like, whose logo goes where. But in that hallway, they put a bunch of circles of wolves that just sit there and look at you as you walk by because you don't know who the werewolf is. Get it? You play werewolf in a circle?
Yeah, because it's who's the werewolf. Get it? Get it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was oh yeah, and the carpet is
very on point.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm just scared to go in there because every time I go into Minecraft at all, I just instantly die because I don't know. Everything is just trying to kill you in there. So
no, it's
they don't
not survival mode.
They have
it's
not survival mode. You can jump off of things. I tested that.
Okay.
You could jump off the very tippy top.
We discovered that Banzai must scream parkour every time she jumps off a cliff. Every single time.
Wait, what was it? Every time, was it?
Every time.
Oh gosh, I didn't realize. But
no fall damage in this one.
That means that means it's a reflex response at this point.
It's a
parkour.
Parkour. Yes, but speaking of that, speaking about the real Gen Con experience, I just wanted to remind folks while you're watching, if you happen to have tickets for the show, please do not forget to turn it in. It helps us count the numbers and do all of the behind the scenes knowledge, know how to do so. If you do have tickets, don't forget to turn them in. Now it is time for our what the heck has happened? What's the news going on? Derek, you got some news for us?
I do. I managed to collect at least a little bit of news as this was all going down. So keep in mind that a lot happened this past weekend. So I fully expect that there's going to be a bunch of news.
Talk about.
Yep, there's going to be a bunch of news that will come out over the course of the next week that we'll pick up on. And these are just some of the things that we were able to kind of grab a hold of as the fire hose was dousing us. So first, Wizards of the Coast announced a revamped version of Curse of Strahd.
What?
Revamped.
I got you.
Wait. Like vamp?
Yes.
Like
they are saying, yep.
Emma got it.
They're saying that.
I get that joke.
Yeah. They're saying that Strahd is a good performer and is able to fill time very effectively.
Just like
yeah. So there's a couple versions of this that will be coming out. One, the revamped version from Wizards directly is like a cute little coffin box and has like postcards that I really hope are like come see exciting Barovia or something like that, like tourism postcards.
Cute little coffin box. It makes me feel like a like Littlest Pet Shop kind of situation that I'm doing.
Yeah.
The freaking Strahd.
My first thought looking, because it looks great, but my first thought was like, that's absolutely a lunchbox. You open it up and there's like a little goth doll inside because it looks adorable.
That's amazing.
My mom puts
right
in a thermos.
Look, if the vampire doesn't keep the blood warm, then it will go bad and they can no longer drink it.
This vampire was drinking soup.
Blood soup. So, so there's just a bunch of extras. Like this is, if you have the adventure, this is going to give you additional components, upgraded elements, things like that. It's if I know a lot of people for whom Ravenloft in general and Curse of Strahd in particular are like their favorite D&D expressions, their favorite adventures for 5th edition and stuff like that. And something like this is going to be a perfect thing for them to pick up or a perfect gift to get them. And for a lot of other folks, or I think the kind of the most interesting element to this is I believe that this is how Wizards is planning on addressing what they talked about a couple months ago about fixing how they portrayed some of the elements in Curse of Strahd, particularly how the Vistani characters are kind of pastiches of negative stereotypes about Romani, and how there was a NPC who had, I believe, a missing limb and had a prosthetic, and it was like a disability they were ashamed of and were hiding and stuff like that. Yeah, so they're changing that so the NPC is no longer ashamed of what they are, basically, or what their disability is, and improving the representation of the Vistanis is also absolutely fantastic. I don't think we have details on how they're doing that, but seeing that response. Go ahead.
We're making a little bit of assumption that they are doing that, but the timing is right, and this is one of the products that they were talking about specifically being problematic.
And like I say, I like where they're putting their money where their mouth is, or how does the phrase go? money where their
Yeah,
mouth
no, you got
is.
it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Banzai.
All right, I got the right phrase. Hello.
The phrase is definitely
but-
chew on your money.
Yeah. So they actually were like, hey, we're going to hire a consultant. We're going to make sure that this is not like pertaining to like bad, of course, Romani stereotypes, and also for people who are disabled, differently abled, or however you put it, they're representing that in a better way. And so change is good.
And then if that is not fancy enough for you, you may have become familiar with Beadle and Grimm, who is also releasing a legendary edition of Curse of Strahd for $360 that I don't think we have the pictures of the full contents of. But Beadle and Grimm has been doing kind of these really fancy editions of a lot of things. It comes with like, you know, huge printouts of like every map, lots of components like metal components, things like that. So it's one of those
Weaponizable
like
for Banzai.
I'm absolutely
It's
certain
very
it's
weaponizable.
weaponizable or usable as armor, basically.
Yes.
One of those two. But yeah, it's real fancy. It's one of those. I love having a range of here's the adventure, here's the fancy adventure, and here's the très fancy adventure. Just because a lot of those things are neat. And if Curse of Strahd is your absolute favorite D&D thing, then yeah, maybe it is worth your group kind of pitching in and raising a couple $100 to go buy the super fancy version, you know, and then run that for Halloween or something. Like
How much
like
is that costing?
$360 fancier, I think.
$160.
It's worth it for the finger puppets.
Wait, finger puppets, you say?
Now he's in.
Yeah, they had little vampire finger puppet. That's what it looked like. The art was a little, I don't think we have all the details locked down yet, but that was my interpretation.
I would actually buy that now just to make my GM play with the finger puppets at the table. Because he's such a stone-faced guy as it is. You walk into the outcome, the vampire.
Yeah, the finger puppets are confirmed. Yep.
It's a swarm of vampires.
Thankfully, have all
Who generally refuses to talk with his hands already, and this, I know, that would be so sweet. Take my money.
What I love, Christian, is you very quickly went to demonstrate that we all have our price. We all have our line, and now we know yours.
Yeah.
And,
So if you
and making somebody physically uncomfortable at the table is apparently mine.
apparently,
What?
if you want
No.
Christian,
Speak well of me.
Finger puppets are great. How is it?
if you
not?
want Christian to support your Kickstarter, include finger puppets.
Or any puppets at all. I'm a big
that's fair.
fan. My
How come you've
favorite
never?
of all time is Kermit the Frog. So.
How come you've never gotten involved in the puppetry track at Gen Con?
Yeah, the puppetry, amazing puppetry
Oh
track.
yeah, when I go to Gen Con, I get to do things that
I know, right?
ever.
Just convince Zoe to do a puppet thing, and then you're good.
Oh
Believe
yeah,
me.
merge yourself into the
Believe me,
stealth
there
into
were
the puppet
long
track.
talks about Journey Quest 3 being made entirely with puppets.
Or a puppet flashback scene or something. There's got to be a way you can work that in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is.
There was, and we did. Emma, watch the show.
Yes.
Come on.
Well,
We'll
that-
let Strahd go back in the casket and go back into the earth for now.
Yes.
Until he is
But yeah.
officially revamped.
Yep.
all right. Well, very, very cool. But yes, now it is time to go ahead. Christian, you got the awards to announce today.
We're announcing awards this week at Gen Con. A lot of people don't know that. And winning the Gold ENnie Award for not being the Hugos is ENnie Awards. That's right. They just happened. They happen at Gen Con every year. And of course, there are 6,000 winners. Everybody is happy about everybody who won.
I heard that.
And
Really?
there have been what? No, there have been literally no complaints at all. The chat room was a delight to be in during the award show, and I am a professional liar.
Good. Glad we know that all those statements were true.
No, but it was. I mean, obviously, congratulations to the people that did win. Some great games won some awards this year, so I think talking about those for a minute might not be the worst idea. Also, Alien won Best Game, the Alien RPG, which was was just fantastic.
It's clearly because we ran it on stream. I mean,
right.
that's the obvious connection.
I think that's why it won.
Well, I will say I still talk about that game. Like when I'm thinking about game design, when I'm thinking about role-playing games, it's always at the front of my mind because there's just so much stuff. The cinematic mode and even playing it multiple times, like just everything in there, I feel like is incredibly well done.
Not to mention, it's a beautiful book. The artwork is fantastic. The writing is on point. It deserved everything it won. Let's bring it up because we had it on the show so many times. Yeah, it won best game.
Yeah.
They just announced details for general ordering for the next cinematic story too.
Nice.
One that's a lot more like Aliens than Alien.
I think that's so cool. It's like you get DLC for your role-playing game.
Yeah.
I dig it. If they start doing loot boxes, though, I'm switching to a different hobby.
Magic. Anyway, so Free League also won Fans Choice Publisher, which is a pretty high honor. So people were really excited about that.
Yep. Asians Represent got Best Podcast.
Yep. Asians Represent also did a live play yesterday on Gen Con TV, I think. They played a game of Quest that was very cool.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
I'm going to go back and check that. I'm going to be checking stuff out from Gen Con all week long now. And I get to do that. Like instead of missing the event, I get to go back and check it out after the fact.
Yep.
Probably should be talking about headlines though.
Probably. So like a couple other ones that won multiple categories or I think were particularly well received during the awards were Trilemma, which won gold in cartography and silver for best adventure. And we've talked about that in the past because I showed you the big fancy version. And it was the kind of landscape book that had the really cool like isometric or it's a really evocative map and then a bunch of notes about what's in there, but not really the stats. Like it's much more, here's an idea, take it and run with it, which is a really inspiring kind of package of adventures. And then I think the big winner of the night was Morkborg.
Oh God, they won what 5?
Something like that. Do all of you remember when we talked about Morkborg? I think when it was on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I remember about it because the name was so ridiculous to me.
And plus, like the art style was like,
extremely metal.
Yes.
So it won gold layout and design, gold writing, silver best game, and gold product of the year. So it was, unstoppable basically whenever it came into a category.
It's always fun seeing these powerhouse games that come through on certain award shows every year, and it always it's while not always a giant surprise because of how good a game was, but a lot of these games are not giant publisher games. It's not the new player's handbook for D&D or something. It's this little game that we talked about on the show that we made fun of the name of and turned out to be just absolutely riveting and amazing.
Yep.
Speaking of smaller indie games that we've talked about before, Ultraviolet Grasslands also won a number of awards. It got silver for cover art and gold for interior art. A Pound of Flesh, which is the adventure for Mothership. It got gold for adventure and silver for layout and design. 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. Yeah. 1,000-Year-Old Vampire also kind of like snuck up and won a bunch. It got gold rules, gold production, and silver product of the year. Like
that's been one I've been really wanting to try, and this cements now that I have to have it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
and then of course the TTRPG safety toolkit for gold free tool. That's one I was really excited about.
X cards are awesome, and we should use them more.
Yeah, that's a tool we use in our games too. So.
So the ENnies has a lot of categories and a lot of winners and a lot of nominees, but a lot of them were just really fantastic games. So if you really kind of want to see what has everybody been talking about? What are people excited about over the past year or so? The ENnies just assigned you a whole bunch of homework. So go do a book report for summer.
Multiple award winners because, they won multiple awards for a reason. Usually multiple reasons.
All right. And then are you guys ready for more hose content for you guys? Just ready for more information that's coming at you? Let's go ahead and talk about some of the games that have been released coming out. Emma, go ahead and introduce our first game.
Yeah, so not officially released yet, but Fort has been making the rounds, at least on social media. A lot of people doing previews and reviews, people getting early copies. So you've probably seen it and you're starting to get excited. There's a lot of hype around this game. It's actually available now on Tabletop Simulator as an official version too. A lot of people will bootleg games and put them up there, but this version is totally official. They were teaching it throughout the weekend. My friend Javion, who's been on the show before, played the game, learned the game, and taught it to me this morning. So I got to check out a new game, which was really super cool. And a lot of fun stuff to love about this game is a deck builder, right? So it's very much in my wheelhouse of favorite game styles. The art, you got decks of kids who you're inviting over to your side of the field and basically trying to make the best fort. So art is amazing, style is amazing. Some really interesting mechanics as far as deck building goes and different things. For example, you draw your hand of cards, as was typical with a deck builder, play a card. Each card has a public action and a private action. So everybody on your turn, when you're playing a card, if they have the right resources, can do a thing. And then when you're done, if you haven't played all the cards in your hand, you put them in front of you in your yard and other people can take those cards on future turns until it comes back to your turn. So it doesn't have the same thing where like I'm making my deck, no one can really mess with it. People are constantly messing with everything that you're doing. So it was good. It was unique. It was very different from other deck builders I've played before, and definitely recommend checking that out. We actually got the link in here to the tabletop version, again, which is crazy. This game is available for pre-order, but not actually available. It's probably going to be a while till many people can play it in person. You can just get it for free on Tabletop Simulator, learn it, play it now, which is a very interesting, I think, positive way to build hype for this game.
Yeah, like we've talked before about how much we like it when there's a Kickstarter and there's like just a button that says play it on Tabletop Simulator, play in Tabletopia, just click here, go try the game, come back and back us. Like that's a fantastic way to get people excited.
Yeah.
And I'm like, from what you're describing of it, like I love pretty much any leader game that I've touched.
Yeah.
Like Vast is absolutely fantastic if people like kind of adventure games that are hugely asymmetrical, and Root is like fantastic in the variety you get from just every different faction is its own complete different game, and seeing them interact is really like it's impossible to really just know the best thing in Root because there's so many options and variables. So to have them come at a deck building game that sounds like it addresses one of my big concerns about deck building games is I love the idea of deck building games, but I also love player interaction, and a lot of them lack that. So if it's built around that, that's really exciting.
If you like player interaction, you should check out Band and All Artichokes. Just saying.
Oh, like that product placement.
Yeah, Fort. So you can check it out right now. You can play it. You can learn it. The rule book is in there. It's easy. Awesome.
Yes. And then Christian, do you have a way that I could just like get as many RPGs as possible?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm the bundle boss.
No,
but talking about the micro RPG collection curated by James D'Amato, yes, absolutely. Simon & Schuster is going to be releasing the ultimate micro RPG bundle, 40 fast, easy, and fun tabletop games. What's interesting about this product is that it is a traditional book publisher and not an RPG company. Simon & Schuster is known for making, books.
Bookbooks.
And what this is a collection of little itty bitty RPGs, 1 and 2 pagers, like we would see in the zines and up on Kickstarter, sometimes in large bundles. This is a full blown book. It's only $17. It's due out for November 3rd release, but you can order it right now for pre-order.
Right.
I think the thing that really excites me about that is we've talked about indie RPGs, we've talked about micro RPGs, we've talked about one-page RPGs, and I feel like when you're extremely online in the RPG community, you're like, yep, 100%, yeah, I get what I'm in, let's try that. But I feel like if you're not always online, it's hard to get exposed to a lot of that stuff or hard to keep up with it. So I really hope that this game does well, because I would love to see more collections that are like, here's a couple games on this theme, grab it, play some of them. Like they take no prep, just throw it on the table and go. Like that's fantastic to me.
Yeah, and I'm gratified to see, you can't see all of the things. I haven't found a ton of information. It's supposed to release November 3rd. But even just paging through the few pages they have on the Simon & Schuster site, I've already seen amazing designers' names like Sharang Biswas and Drew Mirzajutsky. So there's people in here, like these are legit. Isn't just like a traditional publisher's like, we'll do a micro, what now? You know, sure, put some people, like obviously James is very well known in the industry and has done an amazing job surfacing a lot of these people are on Itch or like, you know, one pager Honey Heist or whatever, you know, these are very, very indie. And I personally appreciate a little bit more accessibility and visibility for these kinds of things.
But yeah, no, it's awesome. Let the little guys shine for a little bit, you know. But yes,
also, I've got a ton of these little indie RPG and one-page RPG and micro RPG games that I've never looked at because I don't have a physical book of them right in front of me. So
yeah,
nice. I'm putting it on my list.
Yeah, same.
Yes, and I think chat could agree with you. They're like, yes, I didn't know. Let's go ahead and put that on our list. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and roll right into the Deanna Jones Awards for 2020 have been announced. This is going to go ahead with, of course, the Black Lives Matter movement that is still going on today, by the way, just to let people know. With this like movement going on, some, of course, award ceremonies want to recognize like problems that they have in the past, and Deanna Jones, with their quote, we choose to award the concept of Black excellency in gaming. We want to recognize the often overlooked Black professionals throughout gaming, throughout tabletop gaming's history, up and to including the present day. This is only the second time that this award has gone to a board concept. Like we do have to go ahead and commend the of course, them trying to go ahead, reach out, do, and try to highlight a lot of these POC or just in general Black creators, like, you know, as you know, hopefully this doesn't have to be a highlight, and this could just be like, hey, look, these are the creators, and we don't have to highlight like, you know, having to bring up skin color. But until then, it is, I would say, a good step towards the right direction. The committee announced that next year they're also going to be doing a like emerging designer award, which is intended to amplify up and coming designers. As part of the process, they're also going to make an effort to include deserving members, marginalized groups, and the components of each of the of what they've done, or candidates of what they have done. This also helps include sending free badges and getting hotel rooms set up for these designers so they can come in and showcase their their events. They recognized over 24 people of color in the industry. And like I said, this is something that they're trying to make changes. And it is good, but I want, like, you know, it's the steps we have to take to make sure that, like, we could just be like, hey, these are the creators. We don't have to mention anything else. And there are both good comments about it and some questionable, maybe like changes that need to be made to ensure a better process.
Yeah, certainly some criticism.
Yeah, I wanted to hop in here real quick as seeing some of this unfold on social media. I do think it's great, especially free badge, hotel room, the commitment to helping marginalized groups is really what's needed. You know, this is what's going to really solidly help to diversify the industry. It's great that they are recognizing Black people, but there has been criticism about how the Deanna Jones Award highlighted people and how they reached out to people. For example, if you check out the bios that some of the honorees posted, you can get some more context about the issues that arose from this. It's important to highlight the achievements of Black creators, but it's not a great look to lump them together and say, here they are, and forget about them. All these creators are incredibly skilled and accomplished with achievements that stand on their own. So I think that this is just a really great opportunity for the Deanna Jones boards to say, like, hey, you know, you did it good. thing by not, like so many other groups have just ignored it or
Also,
pretended it wasn't.
congratulations to all of the honorees too.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
Definitely congratulations to all of the honorees for being selected for this. But I think part of what has come out of this is like, hey, it is great. It's great to have all of these Black people visible, and now we can go through the list and we might learn about people we didn't know about before this, but also just continually keep surfacing these people and recognize like all of these people individually deserve their own wins at the Diane Jones Award. So I think just taking some of that feedback and making sure that we continue to strive to do better in the future.
Yeah, like I think this is well, I hesitate to say fantastic first step, just because, you know, again, like, you know, some of the folks who are highlighted, some of the folks around it have criticized it. So, you know, we need to listen to that. But I also think that, you know, we need to recognize this as a first step. And I've been pretty happy. I've been pretty happy with what Diana Jones has done in the past. So I'm very optimistic about what they will do in reaction to this and what they will do with this program in the future. Again, like, you know, I'm talking with some of the other Gen Con colleagues in chat. You know, we're personally very excited to work with, you know, those highlighted designers each year to bring them to Gen Con, you know, get them up to speed, you know, have them run fantastic events showing people how great the work they've done is. So
yeah, it's a brilliant step to actually bring them out there and give them, you know, basically table time, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I love Peter's comment in the chat here too. A number of them have accepted invitations to join the committee. Like, that's what we need. You know, we need Black people in places of power where they can just point these things out. You know, somebody pointing out is like, hey, all the people in the art of your game are white people. You know, someone being able to see that and make sure that we're continually pushing to have a better future.
Agree. But like I said, this is a good step for it, and then we need to go ahead and see what the nominees and criticism that is coming about, see how like they do changes. And like I said, we just have to wait and see what happens next. And to go on more of like let's go ahead and switch gears from an award ceremony to more games that are coming out. Emma?
Seven Wonders 2nd edition is coming out in September. This is super exciting. Seven Wonders was first released 10 years ago in 2010. That's kind of crazy to say that. So it's really cool to see. I always love seeing 2nd editions of games. I know for some things, Dominion, it's tough because it can invalidate your old cards and people get upset about that. But I think a 2nd edition is a great opportunity to update rule books, to make necessary changes, and just make a really nice version of the game. Actually, I haven't played original Seven Wonders. I've played Seven Wonders Duel many times, though. Love it. One of my favorite 2-player games. So yeah, it's just really cool to see here that they're taking this historic classic, basically one of the classic games now, and sprucing it up and putting it back out there.
Yes.
We should sit down and play it at some point, because like I really do love Seven Wonders, and like I think it was
right.
Yeah, I've got the expansions, and I've got the fancy broken token organizer, and you know, all in.
Yes.
But like it was just such a wonderful simultaneous play, drafting, tableau building kind of thing that was just, it was really, really fun. And if you wanted to get complicated, you would draft science, and if you didn't and didn't want to deal with math, you 100% would not draft science. And that one person at the table who is like, yes, exponents and stuff, would get all of the points and win.
Yeah, because the dual version, it has the fancy tower, but you don't do a draft because it's 2 players. So I would really love to do the full game with the whole draft in it.
I would too.
Hey, looks like we just reached critical mass.
Nice.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a mounting list of games that we all need to play as a group once we are allowed to be in each other's physical proximity.
Oh gosh.
Oh
yes. Yes, please.
The 2030s can't come soon enough.
2030.
Shush you.
Unless Emma wants to ship us all abandon all artichokes face masks, so we can just have some convenient product placement for her.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then do it on stream.
Oh man. Well, moving on to, going back to awards ceremony. Sorry, we're going from game release to awards, game releases to awards. So I hope you guys can deal with that whiplash. IGDN Groundbreaker Awards just got announced on their official site. So I'm going to go ahead and just highlight some of the ones that they were saying. We can't go through the whole list ourselves, but for most innovating, it is If I Were a Lich Man. So if you guys want to go ahead and get the premise of this game, I believe, like, because I haven't played it myself, but from what I hear is that the liches in this game are supposed to be represented as Jewish liches who are fighting against the paladins who are supposed to be white supremacists.
Yeah, it's like, that's definitely a summary where you're like, there's no way this is going well. I don't know if I should,
but
clearly
like, how do I
clearly it's worth looking at. And like, think about it, like, we can all see those lawful good paladins being white supremacists.
So I would suggest to just go ahead and look up the game. Maybe I'm like the worst at describing these kind of things. I'm very sorry. I try.
Worst
next,
or most entertaining, perhaps both.
Maybe both. Maybe both.
So you're fighting.
Both can be apt. Both can be apt.
You're fighting against white supremacy, right?
You're fighting against it.
Awesome. Great.
Yes.
I'm in.
A couple of things worth noting here, I think, is that there's several other awards. They had a bunch of nominees.
Yes.
The IGDN also has what they're like basically a virtual booth that they've set up, which is their website, I believe right now, is dedicated to selling the nominees and winners from these categories. Nice. I don't know how focused they are on that, but like I've seen them do a couple of promotions specifically for some of the games that are in this list. So it's, it
looks like a fun game. I just really don't like the description of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's just what it was saying. So next one, best art.
Something like that.
But best art is Humblewood, which is, of course, if you took very cute bird creatures and then made them into anamorphic characters, and you could throw them into a fantasy setting. That's Humblewood. There you go. So yes, of course, they got best art because they have the cutest little fluffy fluffers fluffs. And that is my review of that.
Humblewood also had a lot of fans in chat during the ENnies, because I think it was nominated for it may have won best production values or it was nominated for that, and I think art and a couple other things. And there were a lot of people in chat who were very excited about that too.
Nice. Yes. And then actually pretty cool, Mazes made it for the best rules, which happens to be a zine made recently for
a
zine, sorry, not zine. Zine. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I really do. About sword, sorcery, maze, monsters. Just go ahead and check it out. Best setting, Afterlife Wandering Souls, where you're supposed to be a person inhabiting a body with no memories, and you go through these various different portals to catch the memories of who you were and why are you in this desert escape, like who were you as a person. And
I remember seeing that on Kickstarter and being really intrigued by it.
Yes. So it's very much like Alice Wonderland's meet Dreams May Come, kind of like very cool kind of art, or not art, but storytelling based wise. The last one that I'm going to go ahead is the game of the year, Companion's Tale. This one is a fun thing where you're not the adventurer. You want to know what you are? You are the adventurer's lackey who follows them around to tell their tales of heroic heroism. So you are the companion of these heroes, reliving and telling these historical tales of your hero. So it's just a fun world building kind of game, and I very much you get to go ahead and explore the storytelling aspects of everything, because it takes about 2.5 hours to play, and it just really cool, rich world. And you reveal your companions' tales as you go ahead and go along through the campaign. But yes, and those are some of the highlights that I chose. Of course, you can go ahead and visit the official IGDN website yourself and go ahead and look at these games, get a little bit more of a better description of or feel for these games, because they have, like, of course, all their highlights and everything there. But yes, indeed. And now for more cooler games that is going to be announced. Christian, what do you have for us today?
Oh, well, I don't personally have anything for you, but coming soon, Fantasy Flight Games is releasing a new X-Men board game. Why am I talking about a board game? Because it's got X-Men in it, and I'm going to buy it because it's got X-Men in it. This game made me realize something about myself, is that I will pretty much buy anything if they slap that logo on it. So, there it is. You're gonna. It's got a release date. It's a real game. Apparently, it's just like Elder Sign, also by Fantasy Flight Games, except with Cyclops and Wolverine and Storm and Nightcrawler.
Yeah, I think the picture has like little cardboard figurines that you kind of like move around a map and accomplish missions to recruit people, and like, yeah.
And I'm gonna buy those.
And custom dice.
They're
on a spaceship.
So Christian, I feel like we've learned a second, like, key secret for you. Like, I feel like we're slowly building your true name to control you and get you to buy whatever product. So if we can somehow have X-Men finger puppets, this I feel like one more secret, and we have full control over you.
One of them has been hanging out. If you could have X-Men finger puppets, but in the Rift setting.
I just thought that was a given.
It is. I probably shouldn't have given away that very obvious secret.
But yeah, so with that, I know finger puppets and everything. Sorry, I got distracted by finger puppets. But all right, Derek, you have some more news that happened during Gen Con that was, I believe, Gen Con exclusive news?
I'm not sure. But speaking of IPs that people are suckers for and will just go in on anyway, Renegade released a lot of details about the new Vampire Rivals expandable card game that's coming out. Are you just laughing, Christian, because Sucker was snuck in there?
Yeah.
Vampires? Okay, good. I'm glad somebody got it.
Yeah.
So Renegade had
Derek. I like them. Can't do anything
Renegade. Renegade had a seminar, a presentation on it. I think on Thursday. I'm not sure. I believe it's up on YouTube now. It was hosted by B. Dave Walters from LA by Night and a bunch of other vampire streams these days. And they were talking with some of the folks from Renegade and the designer and kind of going through it. And it was nice to get for someone like me who had played the old Eternal Struggle game. Like, one, this is not that game. But two, it was really gratifying to hear that the designer and everybody who was involved had played that game, and they understood some of the things that they could reflect from that game, or like the feelings they could get from it. I think everybody had experience with the vampire world. They had experience with card games. Renegade has a long history there. So it was just nice to hear them. It's one of those things when you listen to the designer and you have an IP that you love, and everything they say is like, yeah, okay, you get this. Like, you haven't necessarily told me everything about it because it's not out yet, and your Kickstarter's launching in 2 days on Tuesday, I believe. But everything you're saying makes me more comfortable and more interested and excited about what you're going to do. So I'm jazzed. And I was also really happy to see that Renegade was, I think, one of the companies that really embraced Gen Con Online as it's an online convention. So here's how we're going to run demos online. We have these scheduled events online. We have, they set up their own Discord where people could kind of line up to, play quick demos and stuff like that. So it was really exciting. And then I believe they were scheduled to do a stream of gameplay. That might have been on their own Twitch channel, I think. I think that's why I wasn't able to watch it. But I'm pretty sure they've kind of shown a lot of it. The Kickstarter launches on Tuesday. And I want to say that they confirmed that you only need to buy one box, so you don't need to buy multiple boxes to build multiple decks. And two, I think the box is $40 or something like that. Nice. So I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah, and as Tabletop Bellhop pointed out, Renegade has experience from running Renegade Con. So It just goes to show, the more we do this and the more we practice, the better we're going to get at it.
Yes. And so now we also have a different form. If you just slap vampires on almost anything, on also Gloom and Doom, that's Derek's.
I was very honest. Vampire is like there's
I said grimdark space vampires.
Oh, yeah, grimdark space vampires.
Those are called Night Lords. I just bought 3 boxes of them.
Grimdark space vampires in a wooden box that's leather bound.
I thought
yes.
They're called Night Lords. I thought Night Lords were the guys that complained about girls on Twitter.
No, those are neckbeards.
Sorry.
So Emma, there's one component you're forgetting though. So wooden box, leather bound, cloth map.
Cloth map.
Cloth map.
Yep. Like those are the 3 things that you put around the circle to summon Derek to back your Kickstarter.
I like it.
There you go. That's the wish list presented by Derek. Now, hi, Christian, can you give me a little bit more piece of that Paizo news?
Oh, I see what you did there. Okay. All right. No, wait, what are we talking about? Oh, that's right. Pretty much every year at Gen Con, Paizo puts out at least one new product. Well, they didn't let the fact that Gen Con was online this year stop them, and instead announced 15 new products for both Pathfinder and Starfinder. It's obviously, this is not huge game-changing news, but it does mean that there's a lot more. If you're a Pathfinder fan, if you're a Starfinder fan, if you're a Paizo fan in general, there is just a ton of stuff coming out for you in the next few months to a year. Not including, but not limited to the new Advanced Player's Guide for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, a starship guide for Starfinder, which has been long overdue. Even though the game is only 3 years old, I say long overdue like it's not. It's a ton of new products, new books, new tiles, new maps, new adventures for both products all the way across the board. If you're a Paizo fan, it's an exciting time to be a person who has enough money to buy all of those products.
Yeah, very, very cool. So you guys got to look forward to that. And for news of games that are going to be available on the computers, Spirit Island releases their own game. Spirit Island, of course, being the game where you go ahead and defend your island as spirits from people trying to colonize it, is going to be available on PC. Also, hey, fun fact, it's going to be on Mac OS and Linux. Did I pronounce that right? Yes.
Nope, but it's cool. We got it.
It doesn't matter.
Good enough. I'm totally a human from this human earth, and I don't always butcher names. But yeah, so if you guys like Spirit Island, and of course, like, this is a game that looks like it should be like something, simple hour game. No, it's not. So it's probably good that you could play it on the computer, save it, and if you need to go use the bathroom while you are playing, this would be for you. So go ahead and look forward to that, so you can go ahead.
I'm really excited about it because my wife and I play Spirit Island. She really loves Spirit Island because she loves co-op games, and this is like a really complex, difficult co-op game. You have to have a lot of kind of teamwork. There's a lot of powers that you have, a lot of variables and stuff like that. So it's really neat. And then but it is a lot to handle when you're learning and playing it. So having a digital version that we can kind of get used to, play, not have to reset up, not like there's a lot of it's great because then we're just going to get that much better when we do play it physically.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. This is one that always intimidated me, having to learn from scratch, seeing the box, but having the digital version now, especially I imagine there's tutorials and ways to get into it more easily. So yeah, this one looks really cool.
Definitely. Oh, and hello, Raiders. How are you guys doing?
So many of you. And
Gen Con Best Con.
Yes, Gen Con Best Con. There you go. You got lots of approval there. But yes, hi, Quiltoni. Hello. But going back into the news, then Christian, you got to bat your eyes when you talk about this one.
Oh, I do? Okay.
We need to get the anime filter with like the roses spinning in the corners.
Sparkles.
I don't have
the sweat droplet.
I want one really bad. I like looking pretty. What? There's nothing wrong with that. I like being pretty. That's why we're fine.
You are pretty.
You are. Beautiful.
So this is exciting for me. Again, this is just one of the stories that I liked because I'm a big Keith Baker fan. I like Eberron a lot. The new Exploring Eberron book has been announced and is coming out soon. And the reason that that's news is because it's Eberron and Eberron rules.
And this is DM's Guild content from Keith Baker himself. So
yes,
if you love Eberron, you're going to want to get on that.
Because he knows everything about that that setting for some reason.
Yeah, I wonder. It's
Some
like he
reason.
might have like created it or something. I don't know. But yeah,
It's something that I'm looking forward to that I wanted to let you know that you should also be looking forward to, unless you don't like Eberron. And that's fine. You don't have to. There's lots of other things out there that you might like. And we'll tell you about them.
Someone in chat, Marion just said that it's no riffs, but, and that, and that of course made me then repeat your catchphrase, have you tried Eberron? And that led my brain to a question, is Eberron the riffs of D&D?
No, I wish it
You don't
was.
think so? It's got technology, it's got magic, it's got just about everything.
Yeah, but really,
if Eberron isn't in it, what is?
Yeah, so that's the question.
Forgotten Realms is.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, just because the kitchen sink is there, it doesn't. It's not a riffs kitchen sink.
Yeah, because of the 80s influence of like, oh yeah, let's put this completely new and different setting as part of the Forgotten Realms, and a bunch of disparaging things that don't necessarily work together became one product. Boom.
Okay. All right. Okay, I will defer to your riffs expertise.
It's also my least favorite D&D setting. So
your riffsologist is over there.
Our resident
riff
riffsologist.
connoisseur. It's connoisseur. Yes. But now, speaking of which, Derek, do you want to go ahead? As you can see, a lot of people just came in going, Gen Con, Best Con. You want to go ahead and give them some more Gen Con online updates?
Sure. So now that Gen Con Online is winding to a close, we will have our closing ceremony soon. So we just wanted to take some time to note a couple things that maybe you want to be aware of, because a lot of you may not be used to online conventions, and it's also like it's always just a little bit different when it's like, great, go, online convention's done, close or go home. So it's we want to process through our emotions on this one. So a couple things to kind of run down for folks. The Gen Con store, if you're not aware of it, is a place where a lot of publishers put their new releases, stuff that had been released kind of like from the end of June through about now. They just added a bunch more bundles. So if you want to kind of grab packages of stuff and not have to sort through all the games, they added some of those to make that easier for you. That store will remain open through August 9th. So if you haven't had a chance because you've been playing games all weekend, that store will not close at 8 p.m. when the convention itself is over. Merch is actually a different bullet point.
Sorry.
There's a different link for that. Getting ahead and showing spoilers.
Sorry.
The next thing I was going to say is merch is still available. There's a separate merch page from the store. The store is just games, basically. Merch, we have a lot of merch that's from Offworld, and then we have another merch booklet for stuff that is from other partners. Like you're wearing one of the Gen Con t-shirts. I'm wearing one of the Gen Con t-shirts.
I got mine.
I am too, actually.
He's going to Superman into wearing a Gen Con t-shirt.
Do it, Superman.
Spin real fast.
That one's for a weed grower.
Oh.
So
we're in Seattle. Hey, it's okay.
So merch is still available. The Genevieve plushies have sold out.
No,
I got mine. I
ordered some special gifts for those too. I'm not positive, but I think that there will be another run available at some point. So keep your eye out for that. Obviously, we'll let people know if that happens. We also want to thank our charity partners. There were 3 charities that were selected for this year. There's Take This, which anybody is not familiar with. They are an organization that is focused on gaming and the gaming community and helping people deal with the mental health issues, the stress issues that are kind of particular to that community or the people in that community. So they're a fantastic organization. They've been at a lot of different conventions, hosting quiet rooms or seminars about how to deal with stuff, generally providing resources to folks who are kind of stressed out or maybe have a little bit too much to handle and need some help. They also have really cool wooden like shields and badges. I think they do in partnership with Wormwood that you can buy to support them, or you can donate directly at takethis.org. Trinity Haven was another charity that we had selected, and they are going to be Indiana's first and only housing program for LGBTQ plus youth who are at risk of homelessness. So you can donate to them directly at trinityhavenindy.org. And all this information is on our charity page. So if any of this sounds great and you don't know the URLs, you can just go to gencon.online, click on our charity kind of section, and all this information will be listed there too. And both of those charities are also going to be our charities for Gen Con 2020. 2021, when we are hopefully, if everyone wears their mask and stays home.
2020 part 2.
Yeah.
Redux.
We're getting a do-over on this year, I'm telling you.
For Gen Con 2022 Electric Boogaloo. So as long as everybody wears their masks and stays home,
wash your hands,
then hopefully we can all be together again in Indy in 2021, and we will continue to benefit those charities then to make sure they kind of get the full measure of our support. And then for this year, for Gen Con Online in particular, I Need Diverse Games, which is run by Tanya DePass, who was one of the Diana Jones selectees.
Yep.
She's been recognized by Twitch and a whole bunch of other people lately for doing fantastic work, trying to bring the projects, work, research, just general involvement, and all the effort that marginalized folks have been putting into both the video game and tabletop gaming industry. So you can donate to them at ineeddiversegames.org. And for Gen Con Online, after credit card processing fees, the Gen Con base price for all of the events that we ran over the weekend will be donated to I Need Diverse Games instead of being retained by Gen Con. So I'm very excited to find out what that final number is going to be.
Right on. Turn in those tickets, everybody.
Yep. Turn in those tickets.
Please turn in those tickets. Another thing to note, we were kind of talking about how much cool stuff happened on our Twitch over the weekend. All of those videos, or almost all of those videos, are going to be up on Twitch, or I'm sorry, up on YouTube pretty much immediately as soon as we can get them up. Should take about a day for most. Some of them will take a little bit longer because we need to do a few more edits on them and stuff like that. But if you missed anything, there's the video on demand on Twitch itself. There's the highlights on Twitch where you actually have accurate titles and you can find what you're looking for instead of here's a 14-hour video, scan through it. I posted earlier in the Twitch chat the link to our YouTube playlist of all the videos from 2020. There's also some other playlists and stuff like that if you want to narrow things down, but there's a lot of really cool stuff there to check out. If you were playing games all weekend, spend some time this coming week checking out stuff that's on YouTube. Chances are you also spent a lot of time on our Discord during this weekend. If you were playing a lot of games, there were thousands of people on the Discord organizing, finding their games, getting connected with each other, things like that. So at 8 p.m. tonight Eastern, a lot of the channels in the Discord will be closed down. The Discord itself will not be closed, but all of the help channels, all the promotional channels, the film festival, the playtest hall, the dance, platform support, the streaming channels, the pin trading, the showcase, like all the facts and all that kind of stuff, all of those will be closed, and you won't be able to post in there anymore. So if there's anything in there that you want to grab, you should. But some of the channels like GMHQ will stay open a little bit later if any event organizers need a little bit of help wrapping their stuff up. And then there's going to be two very important channels that we add. One is Gen Con Memories, where you can share your memories from the show, what was exciting for you, what you loved, and a Gen Con Missed Connections. So if you were playing with some people who were very cool and you want to try to track them down or something like that, there'll be a little bit of space there. And that will remain up for like a week or two, at which point we are hoping that we will have kind of a more concrete plan on what we want to do with the Discord moving forward. So that kind of ties into the other thing that I want to get out, which is this is the time, not in our chat right now, not right now, but over the next week or so is where we would really love to hear from folks. We'll be sending out like a survey to get some more concrete information, but any feedback that you have about Gen Con Online, email customer service, email events, like email, the department that was covering the thing that you want to give feedback on.
Yep.
Let us know what went well for you at Gen Con Online, what went poorly, like what problems did you run into, and I think most importantly, what would you like to see at a Gen Con Online in the future? Like, where would you like us to grow into? Because I think it's been very successful. It was a lot of hard work on our side for the Gen Con team, but it was really, really gratifying for us, really satisfying for us to see how the community responded and like embraced what we were trying to do, and really, I absolutely think made the absolute best of it. The weekend was so positive on the whole. People were so helpful. They were so excited to play games with each other. And it was really amazing to see that come together. So we want to do a lot more in the future. And we would love to hear from folks about what they want to do with that. And then the final housekeeping for Gen Con Online is if there's anything that you need a refund for, if one of your games didn't fire, if it was canceled, if the GM didn't show up, if you had any kind of problems like that, and you haven't resolved them yet, 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow on Monday, I believe, is the deadline to get that issue or request in. So make sure to email customer service at gencon.com with your full account information, the event ID, whatever the problem was. If you need a refund, request it before then so we can take care of that for you.
I think there's one other thing, though, that we didn't talk about.
What's that?
Shout out to Derek and all the people at Gen Con who made this a possibility, right?
Yeah.
This, for the rest of us, Banzai and Christian, everyone, like we're hosts here. We don't run things, but I mean, you've just done an absolutely amazing job, Derek.
Yeah.
And just in the amount of time you all had to make this come together, I don't know if people really appreciate just how much that is and how hard you worked, and just thank you from the world for everything you've done.
I mean, we know you had to like basically come up with a secondary plan halfway through the first part of the year, and then work two plans until only one was viable. And so the fact that you pulled this together at all is amazing.
Yeah.
It was a rough ride, but again, to kind of continue that sentiment, we would not have succeeded if it weren't for our captains who volunteer every year at Gen Con, and many of whom who stepped in to handle like incredible moderation duties on our Discord server to help everybody get to their games and maintain an incredibly positive attitude there as well. So like it's just been a wonderful weekend from that perspective.
Yeah. So thank you to all the Discord mods, the people handling behind the scenes of changing everybody's stream keys and everything, mods in all forms, and you guys, the audience, for turning in those tickets, reminder, and signing up for all these things. So thank you, everyone. And now, with that reminder for all Gen Con things and wrapping up the news, but wait, because now it is time for Bundle Boss.
Man, I love the Bundle Boss theme song that you do.
Yes.
I can't stop loving it. The more I hear it, the more I love it. So let's start off with bundles. We got a few to get through today, so I'm going to try and make this quick because, we don't have all the time in the world. The first thing that we're talking about today is from Humble Bundle, and it is the Pathfinder 2nd Edition by Paizo. The reason that I'm bringing this up, this is the second time that I brought this up because we talked about it, I think, last week or the week before. But this is a huge deal. So you should really go and check it out, simply for the reason that it's got all of the 2nd edition stuff that you want as either a game master or a player, including the core rule book, which you're going to need to play the game anyway, for a pay what you can price. So, I mean, I'm just reiterating, this is an excellent bundle that has raised tons of money, and it's supporting National Urban League and the Carl Brandon Society and the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. So give them your money. This has raised plenty already at almost $740,000, but it looks like it's going to be up a little while longer. So if you haven't got it yet, check it out. That's our first bundle of the day. How was that? Looking for something a little different? Maybe don't want to do the whole fantasy bundle thing? Well, Modifius has also through Humble Bundle, the Star Trek Adventure Bundle, which is equally as exciting for different reasons. Has more of a Star Trek vibe, in case you were wondering. It comes with well, just about everything you need to play the Modifius version of the Star Trek Adventures role-playing game, including the core book, the Voyages of, the Beta Quadrant supplement, a giant GM screen, a whole bunch of adventures. It's an excellent bundle also. Plus, if you're into the whole Star Trek Online game, it comes with some unique uniforms that you can pretty much get through the bundle, or the Elite Services starter pack you can get through there. Plus, it'll give you a coupon for any core book for 50% off on the print version. So also a fun bundle, good deal, and benefiting the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. But that's not all. We are also we're bringing back a bundle that we've brought back several times here on the show. From the bundle of holding, they're doing the Dying Earth Complete set again, which is a great bundle. Like I said, they've been doing this bundle on and off since 2014. What it comes with is the Dying Earth role-playing game from Pelgrane Press. The Essentials Collection is going to give you the core book, a whole bunch of the compendiums, players' guides, gazetteers, the Earth Revivification Folio, and then you can, like, for the higher price, you can get the complete collection with all of your, Monster Manual type books in there, a bunch of maps, In the Footsteps of Fools, which is a great adventure by them, and plus 2 more adventures on top of that. That, of course, is going to be benefiting fighting the pandemic. 10% of your payment is going to go towards Kathy Orta Tobin and Simon Rogers, who run Pelgrane Press, for COVID-19 relief. So there you go. That's the bundles for this week, this Gen Con week here on TableTakes. Take a look at Humble Bundle and Bundle of Holding every week to find out how you can be helping charity and getting lots and lots of cool stuff.
And now that is our bundles for this week. And now it is time for the Kickstarter quiz with Derek.
Yes. So this week we have a handful of projects that we've been able to kind of carve out time for, and we want to highlight. The first one is just one that amuses me kind of every time I look at the title. It is the Surrealist Dinner Party, and you are like, it seems like it's a kind of mechanics are relatively classic. Like you're putting a guest out in your tableau. You're trying to find the resources those guests want, so you can score the guests and stuff like that. But you're not just inviting any guests. You're inviting weird surrealists who sometimes want really weird foods, or they want to be mocked a little bit before they finish their food. And they got a bunch of kind of interesting artists to illustrate each one. So it's one of those. It feels like kind of a light pairing. Almost like if it were a dinner party, you need to combine themes and foods, but like a light pairing of like some great mechanics that kind of flow pretty quickly, as well as just a little bit of history and learning about art, which is it's just a neat touch. And like, I think maybe it's calling to me specifically because I love surrealism, but I've never put in the effort to really educate myself on it. So I feel like this, might give me a few more threads I can follow, or like a Wikipedia hole I can fall down, or something like that. And I always appreciate a game that can do something like that.
Yeah.
So,
and like for the creator, Mary Flanagan, I was lucky enough to chat with her a month or 2 back on the Ludology podcast, just as amazing things, and kind of known for a lot of research into games and what makes gamers tick, and with games that have a little bit of that educational value, learning value, just a little bit more to them.
So that has 2 days left. It's ending on Tuesday, August 4th.
All right, with 3 days left, Wednesday, August 5th, the expansion for Spirit of the Forest is coming out, Spirit of the Forest Moonlight. It is a abstract strategy card building collecting game. You play as forests, or like basically you play as spirits. This is actually, let me just go ahead and the higher of the tier that you get for this game come with little cute wooden creatures. So that really is what inspired me. But it's beautiful artwork, almost Miyazaki-esque theme carried out through the whole expansion. It is, you are basically creatures trying to cultivate and grow the forest, collecting all, of course, all the earth, wind, spirit, and the elements as you go through. The new expansion features rules for both solo and up to 4 co-op player games, and if you weren't able to get the first base game for it, you can now have your chance to grab it along with the expansion. So if you are into all of the gathering, and this one I would say would recommend for people who have children 7 years and up. So you can play this with the family. It's a short 30-minute game. So if you want to go ahead and grab it, Spirit of the Forest Moonlight, with 3 days left, Wednesday, August 5th.
It's so cute.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what slide we have up, but if you are ever the person who likes cute meeples,
Yes.
you have to click on this and see what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
They're very cute.
So the next project with 4 days left is an old game in an unfamiliar package. So this is Ascension Tactics, the deck building miniatures game. So a lot of you probably remember Ascension. It was one of the huge deck builders. I think it was, at least in my experience, it was the one that was the biggest kind of following in the wake of Dominion. It introduced kind of the 2 economies that a lot of games have now here, where you buy some cards, you fight some cards. It was infamous, especially in the app, for being joyously broken, where you could like get infinite turns and stuff like that. And like people, I think, loved it for that reason. But it's one of the classic deck builders. There's been a lot of sets that have come out since then. It's still very healthy. And I'm very intrigued by what they're doing here, because they're taking their IP and they're bringing it to miniatures, but they're still maintaining some of the deck building elements to it. So it seems like it's a miniatures game heavily driven by cards that you build through the course of the game. And as someone who has gotten into miniatures, I guess I can't say recently anymore, but someone who doesn't have a long history with miniatures, I guess, is another way to say it. Having these kind of bringing some of the mechanics from board games like deck building into playing these games very much intrigues me. I really like the tactical feel of having a board that you manipulate, and having that additional tactical element of having the cards that are resources you spend to get what you want done. So I'm very curious to see how successful this will be, how much people embrace it. And that, again, has 4 days left. So Thursday, August 6th.
And with 5 days left, Friday, August 7th, The Shivers. It is a work-together mystery pop-up, quote-unquote, role-playing game for 2 to 5 players. It's explore a spooky mansion with hidden secrets. So despite that they're saying that it's a role-playing game, I feel like from the description, sounds more like a tabletop mystery board game with lots of cool twists. The central element of the game is that it's a pop-up book. And each time you go through, you go in, and it's very much how, like, basically how people have said, or the play demo, it plays very much like the feeling of an escape room. But if you couldn't go to an escape room and only had a table to gather people on, there you go. It is a tabletop experience.
Table.
Yes, an escape table.
I'm living in an escape house currently, so I get it.
But yeah, so each scene features interchangeable story cards, allowing to like replayability in multiple verses. The role-playing element of the game is that there's a GM or storyteller or semi-GM that narrates all of the like acts throughout the playing game process. And this one is another one that I would say is suitable for 7 and up. So if you want to go ahead, play this as a family game, it's 2 to 5 players. And it's just fun to like just go ahead as a pop-up feature. A lot of games, it's very hard. Trust me, I've tried doing the mechanics of a lot of pop-up books to make hidden compartments and stuff like that. Just the intricacies of this give this game just like marks up in my book. It's clever concept and easy to just to see how it can be enjoyable for all ages. And so yes, The Shivers with 5 days left, August 7th, Friday. Yes.
It totally reminds me of the Francis Glessner Lee nutshell studies. That creator,
Yes.
You've heard about this, where the person, where the woman would create these dioramas of actual murders, and they would be used to train investigators. They'd recently done like a museum display of this, like the revolutionized crime investigation by making dollhouses, basically, of real life murder mysteries.
Isn't there like a Black Mirror episode based off of this, and also a horror movie based off of this?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure that there is.
All right.
So I also have, I have
sorry.
to say that this project too, we'll talk about this when you're done, but this project is one that makes me wonder how difficult it will be for Emma to choose cutest Kickstarter this week. So present the last one and then tell us which one's cutest.
Oh, yes.
Last but certainly not least, for Kickstarters this week, we have Dollars to Donuts with 8 days left, ending Monday, August 10th. A tasty tiling game from the award-winning team behind Calico and Point Salad, being published by AEG. I had to shout this one out because this is one that I have playtested before. It is created by local Seattle area tabletop game designers, people who are near and dear to my heart, designers in my group. So I've been able to see this game evolve a little bit as it's been developed. Just if you love tiling, this is just a very solid entry into it. You're making donuts. So the tiles have lots of half donuts, and you're trying to match like chocolate donut to chocolate donut. But if you match chocolate donut to pink sprinkle donut, you still get some benefits to it. So there's actually a fair amount of thinkiness to this. At first glance, you might think, oh, I'm just putting donut tiles down. It's probably pretty light. It's actually pretty strategic. And another cool thing about this is you break the grid. So because the tiles are different lengths that you're laying down, you can actually spread them out a little bit. So a lot of fun, interesting choices in this game. Definitely check it out if you like thinky tiling games and donuts.
Donuts.
All right, Emma.
I mean, this is great, but have you seen the face on that baby otter wooden tile? Did you see the otter? I mean,
so are you giving a very easy cutest Kickstarter win to Spirits of the Forest?
That otter face, adorable otter. Their face is a little owl.
So like that's the one I would have predicted that you picked too. But like the dioramas and the donuts, they had a chance. They had a possibility.
They did.
Yeah, I mean, if you put a cute animal face on something, that is my secret. Cute, adorable creatures and diversity are the things. Like that's the key to my heart.
If that was really the case, though, the Cats movie would have been better.
She might still love it. She liked World of Warcraft movie. You never know. I can't wait for someone to launch a Kickstarter that just hits all three of our. We have to find. Oh, Banzai likes things that can be turned into weapons.
Yes,
weapon. If it's weaponizable, cute, diverse, finger puppets, wooden box, leather-bound cloth map, then we're probably pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it'll happen. We'll see it.
All right, folks. But now that was wrapping up Table Takes. Thank you so much for sticking around. But wait. Don't go, because right after this is, of course, the closing ceremony to Gen Con Online. And we're not just for this week, by the way. We have this all year round, and we do have a streaming schedule. So Monday, normally would be the board games with Brothers Murph, but they did a lot this week, so they're going to take a break and come back next week. But Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. PST Pacific or PT Pacific time. Yes. This game gets dicey at 1:30 p.m. 4 p.m. we have Fireside with Peter Atkinson, behind the scenes of all of the D&D and magic knowledge. And then Fridays, of course, you can see us at 2 p.m. PT with Table Takes, giving you all the down low of what news has happening in the board game industry. And remember, folks, follow, subscribe, turn on notifications in case you miss a show. And if you do, wait 24 hours and follow our YouTube as well, and you get to catch all the things you missed. But there will be a kind of slight delay for some of the videos coming up here as we organized all the videos that happened here at Gen Con online. Sorry, choked on myself a little bit. But overall, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you, of course, for remembering to turn in your tickets and giving us all that stuff, hearing us on Discord and all that stuff. Thank you, Emma, Christian, Derek, so much for joining us. And I hope you guys have a lovely evening. And don't forget to tune in right after this for the closing ceremonies.
Well, happy Gen Con, everybody. I had a good time this year. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you soon.
Bye.